while Adam's doing that, for those who just joined, have your Instagram opened and ready because we're going to have a little fun.
Yeah, you guys can have your Instagrams open and ready. And again, today's gonna be packed with a ton of value. I want to really make sure that you guys come out of this thing with like actionable tips, strategies ready to go to grow your own Instagram for your realtor team. And I want to thank Leanne as one of our partners. She's amazing. Highly suggest Leanne. And basically, what we're going to go through today is, we're going to talk about what you're going to be learning, give you a little bit of background on me and our company, talk about Instagram tips and strategies. Then talking about scaling your brand, how to implement a lot of these strategies, go into a Q&A. And for anybody live on the webinar, live on the call right now, we're gonna do a little bonus at the very end. And so I'm gonna jump right into it. And what are you guys gonna learn today? Well, essentially how to grow your real estate following, influence, and brand specifically through Instagram. It's gonna be actionable tips, strategies, and tactics to generate referrals, influence, and local authority for your real estate team. These strategies are going to be like, you're going to be able to implement these pretty much like immediately following the presentation. I would say probably 90% of them are immediately implementable. And free organic growth, right? These methods are free, focused heavily on organic growth. This is not like a paid ad strategy today. Of course, you can use money to accelerate your process, save time, but just keep in mind that each one of these topics could be its own 2-hour webinar. I will provide the recording. It'll be up on YouTube as well to attendees. And since we only have an hour, we're only able to scratch the surface. I'll be here for 30 minutes to stay on afterwards and answer any questions. And yeah, you can throw any questions up in the chat as they come up, as you're thinking about them. And then we can kind of dissect them as we're going through. So again, a little bit of background on me, specifically on the Instagram side. I grew a page to 115,000 followers in about less than a year, strictly organically. But my specialty is within lead conversion, right? So, working at the largest lead agency in Canada, I find a lot of the time realtors focus on, or a lot of companies focus on new lead generation while neglecting the actual follow-up and the nurture. But if you look at the stats, 0.8 to 2% of online leads actually buying or selling a home in the near future. The follow-up and the nurture is where, you make a lot of your progress and your money and your leads, right? Those people that, reach out to you today might only be ready to buy in, let's say, a year or 3 years from now. I worked at the largest agency in Canada. There's me over there in the corner. And I have spoke on digital marketing topics at a number of events within the digital marketing community, and, held private events as well, coaching sessions. So first thing, why invest time into Instagram? What are some of the benefits? Well, you're going to build your authority, your brand, and your local presence. Always keep in mind that social media is the long game. It takes some time to build it up. But once you do have that, you have like a digital asset that's going to pay dividends as time goes on. It also gives you guys more control over your creative messaging. You're going to be able to showcase listings, right? So as you build up your following and you become known in the local area, when you get a new listing, you have another avenue to promote that listing through your social media presence, which doesn't cost any money. These are people that ideally already know, like, and trust you through your page. And so getting leads out of that is actually, very real. And of course, capturing organic leads and referral, right? People are going to see you as an authority in their area. And then, have people reach out to you as well as, generating referrals through tagging and things like that. And as well, just being able to showcase your success and authority, right? It's another avenue to showcase that, because you can talk about homes you've sold, client testimonials, community initiatives, contests, and more. So, what's the biggest myth about Instagram? And this is one of the, sometimes people will get discouraged trying to grow their page when, people think they need 100,000 followers to have an impact. It's actually not true. The truth is, you can have an impact and grow your local influence with as little as 100 followers. Because if those 100 followers are true fans of yours, you can still have an impact. And it just becomes more of a quality versus quantity type thing. Of course, it's great to have a number of followers, but you're better off having true fans than a high quantity of people that kind of know you. And again, 1,000 true fans is as powerful, or arguably more powerful, than 100,000 followers. And so now we're going to get right into the meat and potatoes, guys. So bio. So this is one of the biggest missed opportunities I see with people's accounts. It's that because your bio, should be used to convert somebody that's casually viewing your account or a post into a follower. Ideally, it's going to let them easily understand what your page is about in about 3 seconds. And then the next step is to get them to take action, either follow you or click on your website or watch your video, et cetera, right? So What are some optimization strategies? Well, this is an example here below of, in my opinion, like a good bio, because it's very clean, it's very simple, and it follows a certain formula. So one of the formulas being, what is your page goal? And this is something important to think about. It's like, I feel like people are very scattered sometimes. They'll say, they'll put up either a link tree, or they'll be like, follow us on YouTube, and then follow us on Instagram, and then call me today, and then visit my website. Like, you're confusing people with multiple calls to actions. Ideally, if your page is sub 1,000 followers, the recommended call to action is simply just to follow us, not to call me today, visit my website, do all these different things. Just keep it very consistent with your calls to actions until you've reached a certain level of following, that is appropriate. But again, it's whatever your page goal is. You just want to make sure you have a consistent call to action. Like, for example, let's say, you're really trying to promote a listing and you don't care about followers. You already have a number of followers on your page. Well, make all the calls to actions in your bio, in your captions and everything about that specific listing to draw more traffic there. Now we're going to get into caption tips. So with your caption, you want to hook with a bold claim or an idea. Ideally, you want to use emojis, keep it light, and ensure the first 3 to 4 lines entice your followers to see more. Something that's and so just explaining that see more function, it's like when somebody sees your post, you only get those couple lines for them to actually click and read more. So you want to make sure that those actually entice people to want to. Something that's very important that I don't think a lot of people know about is once your post is out in the algorithm, do not edit your caption. If you edit your caption, it will kill your engagement. So it's just something to be aware of. Like, make sure before you post you post that you actually read over your caption, you make sure you're happy with it, because editing it once it's been posting will just completely kill your engagement. I've tested this over multiple scenarios. It's happened to me before. And so just make sure you're doing that. So here's an example of like a good caption, in my opinion, right? So you're going to describe the post. So this post was about, I guess, Instagram content, and, posting valuable content 2 to 3 times a day can be time consuming. We're giving a little bit of detail and a backstory. We're then asking the audience to share, like, and comment. And then you're following, you're asking people to follow. And that's one of the biggest opportunities here. It's every one of your captions, guys, make sure that you're putting in what your main call to action is. So again, highly recommend to keep it at the follow, but this is very important to keep in all of your captions. If you're reposting, you want to thank the page you reposted, and then of course have your 30 hashtags there. Caption structure is almost as important as the photo itself, because you're getting people to take action. People could see your photo, but if you're not asking people to follow us and giving them context on that photo in the caption, you can kill a lot of potential followers or engagement. What's a speed hack? So this is a little bit interesting, but this is actually specifically within iPhones. I'm not sure if this is on Android, but on iPhones, you can go to settings, general, keyboard. There's a little thing in the keyboard called the text replacement, and you can make your phrase something. It's a little bit hard to describe, but basically, if you made your phrase, let's say 1, 2, 3, your shortcut would be, let's say, the words follow us follow us to learn more about our process, right? And so what that means is when you're typing in the words 1, 2, 3, it'll automatically convert into follow us to learn more about your process. That's a little bit of a speed hack and can be very helpful when you're using your captions. And even when you're DMing people, being able to, you type one word that could equal an entire phrase or sentence or even long paragraph. Tagging large realtor accounts. So this is something I don't see a lot of people do, but keep in mind that, like, if you tag someone else's account, even a post with millions of followers, you'll actually see your post show up in their tagged accounts. So, you could tag, let's say, Tony Robbins right now. And literally, if you were to tag him, you would actually show up on his page. Now, there's a lot of people tagging him, so it might be only for a quick second, but you can use this strategy to tag multiple realtor accounts, even larger accounts at one time, and then get exposure through that. I don't see a lot of people doing this strategy. Now, this one's really interesting. And I think one of the, the biggest kind of, things that'll move the needle for you. And if you get in the habit of doing this, so every time you guys sell a client's home, ensure that you're actually putting a story about that sale. When you do the post about that sale, that you're tagging the client. Like, you want to make sure you're tagging the client, and whether you're going to directly ask them to or they naturally do it. If they then share that, like, the fact that you've put a post up about that recent home sale with them in it, it's a potential to generate direct referrals. I mean, these are people's personal Instagrams. They might have 100 of their close friends. And if they repost the fact that you sold their home and your team was the one to do it, you can generate natural referrals and direct referrals directly from that post. So for realtors in particular, guys, tagging clients is a huge one. And yeah, huge opportunity on this one. Variety feed. So this is interesting. And this is where I see a lot of people, when they do their Instagram pages, they go a little bit wrong on this, because what they're doing is they're basically posting the same kind of posts all the time. One of the major secrets of my page that I grew so much was that I kept a variety of posts. I made sure that I wasn't just posting the same thing all the time. You want to actually, switch up your posts. So what does that mean? Well, that means that your post today could be a topic post, right? If you're specializing in condos, post about a new development. Then you could have maybe a unique or interesting repost from a niche account. Then you want to have a post with, I call it human faces, but you don't want to just do a bunch of pictures of homes all the time. You want to make sure that there's people, people identify with people. So happy, one of your clients that are happy in their new home. Then you want to have, let's say, have an authority post. So maybe some specific steps that new homeowners should take. Then you want to have an informative post, maybe a unique fact about the GTA real estate industry. Then maybe throw in an ask. So you're asking for referrals. You could do this also by showcasing testimonial videos in a carousel. You could have a local post, take a video by the CN Tower, shows that you're local to the area, or whatever area that you typically farm or you reside in, have local content of you there. A funny meme. Now this one's up to you if you like this, but it's always, it does add some fun to the page. If you can find, something that's relevant, it would fit with your audience. And maybe some unique facts about your team, highlighting a team member, talking about a unique fact, if they were a tennis superstar back in the day, share posts about that. But the idea of this is the fact that you don't want to just have a bunch of recent listing all the time. Like, we want to make sure that you're keeping a variety in your feed, which keeps your page fresh, interesting. And yeah, again, it keeps it, interesting for people, and also enticing for other people to want to follow you, because it's not the same thing all the time. So that's typically for, let's say your realtor team brand or your actual brand of your team, but what are your personal brand, right? So if you have your personal brand, or a number of your team members have personal brands, here's some more examples of things that you can showcase for your personal brand and creating a variety feed. So one thing you always want to keep in mind is giving value, right? The 80-20 rule. You don't want to just take. You always want to be giving more than you're receiving, right? And so there's multiple ways to provide value with your Instagram page. And, the biggest way I can explain this would be if you constantly literally just had posts about, call me today, I'm the best realtor in the GTA, right? If you constantly had posts about that, that's not really adding value to people's lives. Yes, it's great. And you want to let people know that, you know what you're talking about, but why do people want to follow your page, right? They're going to be following it to either get information, you're helping people do things better and faster, educate them, make them feel good when interacting and viewing with their posts, empowering people. And so ideally the ratio should be value 80% of the time, and then asking for business the other 20%. Stories. So now we're going to go into stories a little bit. So stories are a huge opportunity, guys, to encourage community interaction and give a community feel to your page. Now, the feed itself is fairly of a static thing, right? It's more of like a broadcast to your followers, putting up a picture, a carousel, a video. That's great, but it's pretty static. Where the stories allow you to kind of get more interactive, have polls, questions, create a community around your brand. You can play clips of customer testimonial videos. And I'm going to talk about this in a little bit. I think a very underrated thing on Instagram is IG Live. It's an opportunity to, interact direct with your followers, and you can use your stories to promote your upcoming IG Live. You could start 3 days before. Hey guys, we're going live in 3 days. 2 days later, we're going live in 2 days. There also is a group chat feature in stories as well. So what are some content ideas for your stories? Well, you can talk about yourself, your team, your brand. You can thank people for following your account, give an introduction. It acts as a quick vlog. So, again, the stories only last for 24 hours, right? So, the chance of somebody actually unfollowing you for a story is extremely small. And it allows you to kind of, you don't have to, you don't have to overthink as much like people typically do with posting. You can use it more of as a quick micro vlog, even if your team's out for a quick lunch, quick story. Hey, we're here at a local spot, having a great time. You don't have to think as much, but keeping a consistent story up will help your algorithm. You can tell a story about yourself, right? You can tell a story about, so rather than just posting about, hey guys, this is our new listing, stories can be used to literally kind of talk about the process of that new listing. You could talk about behind the scenes, things like that, right? Some more content ideas. So humanizing your brand, right? So showing the people behind the brand, behind the team. Of course, people like buying from humans, not faceless brands. And especially in a crowded industry with little differentiation, this can really help you stand out. Of course, you can expand on topics that you recently brought up in a post. And you can get feedback, right? So when let's say you want to launch a new logo, you can get feedback on that new logo from your followers that can actually help you and help guide the direction of where that new logo is going to be. Same thing with new advertising. If you're putting out new flyers, put up the 3 flyer ideas you're thinking about, launching, and then have people give their feedback in a poll, right? Here are some apps you guys can use to actually improve your stories. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but these apps are specific for stories. And there is actually a story scheduler. Yes, you can schedule your stories. It's an app called AppFeed. So IGTV. IGTV, guys, huge opportunity as well. Again, underutilized within Instagram. So what that means is you're going to get more reach with your IGTV posts. You could have a mini television show about your brand, right? You could create a series of specific aspects, create episodes on your team, keep people engaged with your brand and connected. One thing to remember is you don't need to produce your, IGTV, strictly professionally, right? You can just use your smartphone. And in fact, sometimes just the smartphone approach makes you seem a little bit more authentic. And, of course, as you continue with your IGTV series, you can put promotional content. Let's say you have a new listing, but it doesn't need to feel salesy, right? It can just be, part of the episodes and like, hey guys, like we have this, just taking them through without, again, feeling salesy. So ranking your IGTV. So hashtags and IGTV work just like your regular posts. The same caption formula I've just talked about, the posting formula, the hashtag formula I talk about, all works in ranking your IGTV. And again, the popular and the explore section of IGTV can actually show you what type of IGTV videos are currently ranking. And you can sometimes model what's already ranking and working when you're creating your content. User-generated content. So this user-generated content, guys, is some of the best content to use for your feed. And this is where, your actual clients are giving you the content to put up because, you could have video testimonials, it makes you seem more authentic. And so the more you can collect user-generated content, the better. And actually it'll help you supplement, when you're wondering about what to post, you can use user-generated content within your posting. It's the most authentic, it's raw, it's real. And, when opposed to you guys saying how great you are all the time, you can have others say it for you, which is, in my opinion, even more effective than saying how great you are. So IG Live, okay? So IG Live is a big opportunity. When I ran my page and, we would do, let's say a giveaway, we would have the highest, the highest engagement on our giveaways during an IG Live because people are right there with you. Right? So when you launch this thing, people can ask you questions live. You're right there. It feels super real. It's super human. And one thing to keep in mind, a lot of people, I don't know if you know this or not, but once you finish your IG Live, that gets broadcast for 24 hours where the stories go. And in fact, when it gets broadcast, it actually shows up as like a live sticker. So you're going to actually the reach you're going to get through stories, people are going to notice that a lot more than just a normal story. So many different benefits of running IG Live. I highly recommend it. And you can use your stories to actually promote an upcoming IG Live. Follower engagement, guys. Okay, so when posting to your feed, make sure you're commenting back to anybody who comments on your page, ideally. You want to make sure, because this is where you can use the social part of social media, right? So when somebody comments on your page, oh my God, great listing, or wow, I didn't know that about the market, try to engage them in a genuine conversation. And this is what actually, moves the needle on, generating clients, generating followers, things like that. So sometimes you can ask people, and typically I would, if I went back and forth with somebody commenting, I would then DM them afterwards and ask them simple questions like, hey, like what made you follow us? Or you can just kind of get to know them. But that question of, hey, what made you follow us, can give you a lot of insight into why people are following you. Maybe you might find out after asking this question multiple times that people really love the fact of your market updates, right? So now okay, well, I need to stick with the market updates and maybe expand that. So, when we're talking about follower conversations, the 4 best ways to have meaningful conversations with your followers include, one-on-one DMs are the best. They're very personal, but again, time consuming, not the most scalable. However, you can use the speed hack from earlier to have a couple of, pre-made responses that you can get then customized to somebody. You can do group DMs, so you can chat in the stories. Again, that's very scalable and personal. IG Live, again, it's arguably as personal, if not more personal than the DM, because you're right there live and you're showing your face. Responding to comments on a feed post or story polls are all ways to engage your followers in conversation, some more scalable than others. So this one's very interesting, guys. And this is one of the biggest things that, people will grow a huge Instagram page, and I'll talk with them and I'll say, listen, you have, let's say 20,000 followers. How many emails do you have? And sometimes, they'll say, oh, I have 100. Like, what you want to do, and I can tell you this from growing a page to 115,000 followers, when we would actually do like a salesy post or we're doing an ask from our clients, we would do it simultaneously through email, and we would do it through the followers, like just posting about it. And I would say 80% of our traction would come from the emails posted rather than the followers posted. Meaning, if you guys have a new listing and you're looking for people to inquire about the new listing, and you were to, let's say, email your followers or post about it, you're likely going to have 75, 80% of a better response when you email people versus just posting about it. And there's so many reasons for that. One of the reasons being reach, like not all of your posts will reach people. Another reason to think about is, what are the mind state that people in when they're on social media, right? The mind state that people are in is they're in the mindset of they want to look at their cousin's cat pictures. They want to look at their friend's wedding. A lot of times people are in a different mind state when they're on social media versus email. And that's something to think about. And another reason that you want to capture your followers, information. And it's extremely important. And what are some of the ways you guys can capture their emails? Well, ebooks, right? You can create a lead magnet or an ebook to give away something of value in exchange for emails from your followers. This is one of the easiest ways to do it. Or, of course, you can ask people for their emails, but again, you want to be a giver, right? So if you're giving something of value, people will give you their email, and ideally you want to ask for their best email. And now you're starting to capture your followers' information. So if there's anything you take out of today, it's that whatever following you have right now, if these are not your direct clients, if you have half your followers or people that you kind of just follow you on social, try to get people's information, try to get their contact information. And ideally you want to create your own ebook specific to your brand or style. Once you're understanding the likes and dislikes, you'll know the type of ebook that would be a no-brainer download. Let's say you specialize in an area and people really identify with your market update information. Well, you could have an an ebook talking about the market in that specific area, right? That people would want to, get value of and want to download. So lead magnets, again, if a follower gives you their email. Now, this is interesting. This is kind of, we're delving into email deliverability here, but basically one of the ways why I like Instagram a lot and getting people's email through Instagram is when somebody signs up for your ebook, they want the ebook, meaning whatever the email you send to them, they're going to open that email and to collect their ebook that they just signed up for, right? However, the act of them actually clicking and opening that email now sets you up for great deliverability to that person in the future. And so again, kind of, to reiterate that, basically, like if I see your ebook and I really want it and I put my email in, I'm going to go to my email and then open the ebook, right? Like I want it. But what that does now is, basically any future emails sent to them will have great, extremely improved deliverability, which means that, when you're promoting to them later or you're giving them value later, it basically allows you to again, have better deliverability to that person and overall on your actual dedicated IP, build up your reputation there. And so, with greater deliverability, your emails will reach the inbox more consistently. You then don't have to rely strictly on the algorithm to push your offers out to a portion of your followers. So, it's giving you leverage. It's giving you a hedge against, if 500,000 realtors start doing Instagram tomorrow, your reach is going to go down. But if you have your followers' emails, you now have a backup and a hedge. And so again, like receiving a follower on Instagram is a great, in my opinion, initial contact with a potential customer or lead. But once you have contact information, having the best way to do it would be having a set of personalized automation to convert that lead or follower into a client or, a fan or an advocate of yours. And in a perfect world, you'd use text messaging, personalized video, email, ringless voicemail, and Facebook Messenger all in conjunction to give them personalized value, pertaining to them. And so making sure that you're kept top of mind in a personalized manner to convert followers and even add traffic into potential clients. And of course, this is something we help with at Sales Tool Pro. And so what are some pre-made realtor templates for you guys? So canva.com is a great, I believe it is free. And something like, I don't know if a lot of people know, but you can actually look up Instagram posts realtor within Canva and then find a number of actually pre-made posts specifically for realtors that you can then just modify to yourself. So you don't need to have, a super expensive graphic designer doing everything for you. Of course, that's great if you can, but you can use like services like Canva to have pre-made posts that look really professional, ready to go. Now, what are the biggest secrets to growth, guys? So this was actually my biggest secret, and it's probably, not as probably cool as you'd think it would be, but literally it's just a volume of posting. So something I think holds a lot of people back is the fact that people will wait for the perfect post. And when you wait to make your post at 100%, it's really hard to, keep that volume up because you're going to overthink your posting. In my opinion, it's better to have 5 posts at 80% than 1 at 100%, because if you're doing the strategy properly, and again, everything I've just told you about, now you have a focused strategy as well for when you do post now, you're going to get more traction and reach. So having 5 posts at 80% is better than 1 at 100%. And if you think about it, 3 weeks from now, if you started today, those posts that you made today are going to be completely buried in your feed, right? If you continue with the strategy. So don't overthink it too much. And feed the algorithm, right? The algorithm wants fresh content, and just try not to overthink. And so, again, posting more wins more. The higher number of posts, also the higher chance of going viral as well. You just going viral is something that you can, of course, plan for and you can optimize for, but you can't make it happen. And sometimes that post that you're like, I don't even know about this one, ends up being the one to go viral. And so, now we're going to talk about DM strategy and developing your true fans. So, with multiple followers, DMing everybody once at a time is challenging. So who should you spend your time DMing the most? And if these people are not already advocates of yours, you already kind of talk with them, it's definitely worth it to develop a relationship with, and I would say in order would be frequent commenters. So people that are commenting on your posts, people that like your posts, people that respond to your stories, and then cold followers. So what I mean by this is if you have 500 followers and 250 of them are not advocates, you haven't really spoke with them ever before, they just found you through Instagram, I would start DMing your commenters, then the people that like your posts, then the people that stories, then you can start going down the list of your cold followers to build those relationships. And then bring value, right? So before you DM them, take a quick look at their profile before to get an idea of what they may respond to. If you have a lead magnet, like a free PDF, offer this after you chat with them for some time to, of course, get their email, and also offer them some value as well. So this is an underutilized strategy, but video DMs and voice notes, extremely underutilized. It allows you to, again, put a face behind, the text. And again, if somebody's reaching out to you, sending them back like a video DM or a voice note is huge. Like they can hear your voice and it really develops a human connection. So that's something you definitely want to look into. I find they're very underutilized from people. Another thing to keep in mind is what's called watermarked content. So if you start to develop a posting style kind of like this, and you start watermarking your content, meaning you're putting your brand, your realtor brokerage underneath those posts, if people start to repost that or use your pictures, it's going to be hard for them to take out your watermark specifically. And so you can get exposures on other pages. just by having watermarked content and watermarked posting. So that's something I feel like a lot of people don't think about. It's the fact that if you create amazing content, other people want to share your content, and having it watermarked will just basically increase the number of followers you're having. And then hashtags. So these are one of the most important aspects to page growth, and hashtags are keywords. So these are extremely important. Again, they need to be relevant to the post itself. You can have a bank of hashtags in your notes if you want to make sure that they're changed every time. You want to have about 30 hashtags you want to have 30 hashtags in every one of your captions, and make sure that you're switching up the hashtag. So again, one of the most important aspects to your page growth. Instagram, believe it or not, does actually have image recognition software. Like, they can tell if you're basically hashtagging. And one common problem I see is you'll put up a picture of, let's say, a home that you just sold, and you're hashtagging the keyword like design, right? Hashtag design. Well, it's going to confuse the algorithm when you're using hashtags that don't pertain in particular to the actual post itself, which will then hurt your engagement. So some hashtag tools you guys can use to actually find hashtags relevant to your market, tophashtags.com, flick.tech. And again, it's a science proper hashtagging. I'm actually going to skip ahead to here we go, our staircase strategy. So explaining hashtags, and this is very important to understand, it's that, like, if you're always hashtagging the word real estate, realtor, investor, things like that, those have a lot of competition on those hashtags. Those hashtags are like, let's say, like below 5 million posts each, and always hashtagging big hashtags. It's like you're an extremely small fish in a huge pond. However, what you want to do is vary up your hashtags, and you want to do that in relation to the size of your page. So what I mean by that is, if you have a page of, let's say, 1,000 followers, you want to vary up your hashtags. You might have 5 that are, let's say, below the 1 million or the 500K mark, and the rest of them keeping around the 100K, 25K mark, because what you're doing is you're becoming a bigger fish in a smaller pond when you're hashtagging. But what you don't want to be doing is hashtagging massive hashtags like real estate, and you want to actually keep it super niche to your area. This is crucial to understand. Like, if you're in a local market, keep your hashtags local. Like, if you're in the Collingwood area, keep your hashtags, hashtag Collingwood Realtor, Collingwood Real Estate, things like that. You want to keep them localized to your area. Because again, trying to go after the big ones is okay, but you want to limit of your 30, maybe only keep it to 5 of the bigger hashtags that you're using. Another example of what you can do is you can run a giveaway, right? So you can run a giveaway, and this is great to, get your post out there, especially if you're in the beginning stages of your page and you really want to expand your reach. Having people tag you, comment, maybe have 2 or 3 friends of theirs follow you, and you have a really good giveaway, something that you can kind of implement right away to kind of give some traction to your page, and also give you an excuse to post a lot about that giveaway, right, that you're about to have. And so again, that was kind of our blitz through Instagram strategy. I know that was a lot to take in, guys. We are going to have the recording up on YouTube, so you can go back and rewatch it. But yeah, we're going to do some Q&A, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how we help realtor teams, specifically in unlocking the missed database opportunity, right? We don't really focus, Instagram is great on what we focus on, but really what we focus on is unlocking the missed opportunity in your database. And having, followers on Instagram is great, but if you're able to collect their contact information, we have sequences that basically would follow up with these people and turn them into advocates of yours over time. Because one thing we don't do is lead generation. So, with our company, you won't be receiving 100 random Facebook leads. Again, we are more for established realtors. You've been in the business for a while. You feel like, there's some missed opportunity in your database. If you can think and be like, we probably have missed at least 5 home sales in the last year just due to not following up with people. What we do is keep you top of mind until contacts are actually ready to buy and sell. And that happens in a very personalized way, unique to you. It's all about the non-salesy approach. It's just about igniting a conversation that you can then take over. Generating proactive referrals from people in a very natural way. And of course, having touch points occurring even when you're busy. You could be busy with a showing or a listing, but people are still being reached out to, specific to them, contextual to their situation, and then helping scale your realtor team, right? So we act as a complement to your CRM. All of our clients have CRMs. We act independently, and we actually will integrate with your CRM. But primarily, this is something that's operating independently, and it's working 24/7. And ultimately, your team does their job just response to clients and people that are reaching out through your campaigns, and then sell more real estate. Right. So, if you feel like you're missing some opportunities, again, if we look your average client anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000, even missing one client a month due to lack of follow-up, lack of nurture, is costing your team around $180K annually. And so the question you kind of want to ask yourself is, is our team missing out on deals or opportunities, or, people that are going with other teams just because I haven't kept in touch with, let's say, Sandra from that, open house I met 2 years ago, due to lack of follow-up and nurture. So if you guys are feeling like you are missing some opportunities in your database, we'd love to help unlock that. You can contact us at info@salestoolpro.com.